Hmm. Hello, beautiful people. So I came on today to speak about something that I was contemplating upon and feeling into the last couple of days. And I was out in nature a couple of days ago, and whenever there's snow, like it is right now, all Swedish people go out with their kids to play in the snow, which I love. So I was sitting and just like watching nature and the beauty and observing, like feeling to the frozenness of winter. And I was listening to kids playing, and I noticed um, how they are like very eager to show who they are and how eager they are to separate themselves from the group and show like this is me, this is what I can do. And I was observing and seeing how like the adults unknowingly um, were kind of putting that down all the time, and telling them to stop or not to show off and things like that, or not to be selfish. And that's like a very big thing. A child is supposed to be selfish for a while. They are supposed to be selfish. They are supposed to explore who they are, which doesn't mean that we shouldn't teach them to uh, like see other people as well. But we are often just taking from them the complete um, like the complete right they have to explore themselves and be selfish and show off and actually celebrate that they are different and celebrate that they have gifts and celebrate that they have weaknesses. And like very often, um, adults put, or like not very often, most of the time actually, adults put their own dreams and their own unmet needs onto their kids. So their kids never really get a chance to explore who they are as an individual, but they get like forced into being something that their parent wants them to be. So they lose this right to explore themselves and to be who they really are and came here to be and came here to express. So they become like this extension of their parents instead of being who they are. And I was really feeling into this and how much pain it is in that for like later in life, and like for myself not being able to explore who I am and doing this now, like when I am an adult. And seeing like how life is this dance of separation, integration. And we like, there's so much talk about how separation is this bad thing, and I myself talk about it, but I don't mean it like that. I just mean that the like full 100% perception of separation is not healthy for anyone. But fighting separation is always not a good, also not a good thing, because we need like to separate ourselves from the whole so that we can explore who we are, what feels right and true to us, what our core values are, what we believe in, what our truth is, what we came here to do, what gifts we have, and be our own person. And from that place, from that developed self, we can come into unity. Because if we're not having like a self, a connection to a self, we won't ever be able to connect to others and be in unity and feel united, because we will just be afraid of getting lost in it and not feeling ourselves at all. And we won't actually be able to explore ourselves, um, in being a separate part of the whole. So we often see things as black or white, but they are actually correlated. So being in unity, being in oneness, doesn't exclude being an individual. So these two need to be married, not like in a battle against each other. And that is like a whole process of doing that. But if we don't get to develop a separate individual self, we won't be able to be in unity and feel connected to anything. Not for real. We will have this like illusion of being connected because we will just give ourselves over to people and abandon ourselves and be like, okay, I give you this and this, and I just listen to you and I do everything you need me to do, and people please. And then we feel connected, and then we have this illusion of being connected. We have this wounded perspective of being in unity, and that is not what it really is, because we're just giving away parts of ourselves to feel this that we all need and long for, which is love and connection and belonging, which is like a basic human right, but we're so far removed from that, unfortunately. So I was feeling into this and feeling out like how painful it is to see that these kids who are just trying to explore themselves and just be who they are and like take this space of being them and being proud of that, are being put down and told that what they are doing is wrong. And it just really showed me how we are stopping people from developing a sense of self so that we then can feel more connected to each other from a real grounded place within ourselves, and create this space where diversity actually is celebrated, not just in theory but like in practice, that we actually celebrate that we are different and that we have different things to offer, and not feel like something is taken away from us or feeling less than because somebody else had something else than what we have. So I could clearly see how we are disturbing that process as a society, because this is not just something that happened there. I have seen this like so many times, and I have experienced it, and I know that most people have experienced it. Otherwise we wouldn't have so much reparenting and inner child work in the world. So I was just observing how that is happening all the time, how we are taking away kids' rights to develop their own self, which like if you think about it, if you feel into it, is like a disease of this world, where we're not allowing people to be who they came here to be, how we are taking away from them out of fear, out of shame, out of anger and guilt and all of that, to be their separate selves, because we feel threatened by that. We feel like if they aren't what I want them to be, they are threatening my reality. And there's like where the ego comes in. So it's so crucial and important for us to be aware of that in the world, especially as parents, but also like we have children all over the place. Obviously they are everywhere, and it's important for us as adults to think about how we are talking to and approaching children. And if you feel triggered by like a 5, 6, 7-year-old being selfish, then it's most like it's most likely that you weren't really allowed to be selfish yourself when you were a child, and now you're feeling this frustration somewhere inside that you weren't allowed to be yourself, and that is coming out as a projection onto this child. So think about how you approach children. Think about how you approach yourself and your inner child. Do you allow them to be an individual and explore themselves and do things that is just not what other people would do, like what you think, and be true to yourself? Because it's so important for us to have a strong sense of self, so that when it comes time for change and transformation and letting go, we don't feel like we will literally stop existing or die, but that just some parts of us will die, and that some things will be letting go of, but we still have a sense of self, and from that sense of self, what needs to be shedded can be shedded. And without that sense of self, everything is just so confusing and fucked up. So if you feel like you weren't allowed to develop yourself, take time to do that. Take time to be with your inner child. Take time to connect with your inner child and ask this child what it needed when it was growing up that it didn't get, and what it wanted to express, and why and how, and explore that. But like mostly send love to all these parts of your inner child that felt like they weren't allowed to be, and give yourself time to develop yourself, because then when you feel like more and more a sense of you, it's much easier to be in relation to each other, and it's much easier to be in relation to the world and feel like you're living from inside of yourself, and not like you're just taking in all the input that you're getting from the outside world. And then you really feel unity, like real unity, and not this illusion of unity with abandoning yourself. So that is what I wanted to share with my observation and my take on it. And if there's anything that resonated, or anything that you want to share, or something that you want to add to what I said, please do in the comments. I would love to see it and see what you feel about this and how you feel about it. But thank you so much for watching and being here, and I wish you a beautiful day.